Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is I, CR Daredevil, and we have another episode in our AEW series. This week, not an episode of Dynamite, as you might have seen last week. If you watched it, I did say that since we were coming up to the end of the year, this was going to be a recap episode. We're going to recap the year and kind of see what happens in the rest of the wrestling world as well as all that stuff. So, this is going to be a recap episode where we'll go over the end of the year awards. We'll have a lot of the other stuff happening, all that kind of stuff. We'll go through, what other companies are doing, all that kind of stuff, and go from there. So we're gonna dive in. I purposely blocked off when this loaded. I purposely blocked off the screen, and then clicked on one of the news stories lower. Not this one. I clicked on like one of the news stories lower, so that way I wouldn't get spoiled to who the wrestler of the year is, because I want to have a, first time reaction with all of you while you're watching this, while I reveal who wins the awards. But unfortunately, Drew Gulak is in hot water after making a social media post in which he ranted about politics, leading to other users from all sides of the political spectrum to jump in for an online free-for-all. Story quickly went viral and has led to him temporarily deactivating his account. So that sucks for Drew Gulak there. There's also a new champion in WWE, as Jeff Hardy won the United States Championship, which we'll go over at Clash of Champions here in a little bit. A bunch of places ended their runs. This is gonna be, there's a few things that we'll be going over when we get to that point. But we're gonna start with referee of the year. I went to Scott Armstrong, referee Scott Armstrong, who's with WWE. He's got a 97 rating skill, or 97 referee skill, so more than likely he will always end up winning it, but unless he retires, I guess. But, good for him. Color commentator of the year, Paul Heyman, despite the fact that he's not a color commentator. The game likes to do that. It likes to say that that stuff's happening when he's probably not being used as a color commentator, but it likes to do that. So I might actually go in and edit that, take off his color role, so that way he's not going to be color commentator of the year, because like I said, I doubt they're using him as color commentator of the year. He's probably still just managing Brock, or managing whoever. But unfortunately, because he's available as a color guy, they just automatically give that to him every year. Announcer of the year, Shinpei Nogami. I might have messed that name up, but good for him. He's announcer for New Japan, DDT, and Wrestle One, working for all three companies, which is interesting. But 81 announcing skill, so good for him there. Doing a good job as an announcer there. Manager of the year, Jushin Liger. This is a world where Jushin Liger retired in 2019, I believe. Yeah, he retired. Here in 2019. I think he retired. He retired in August of 2019. He's in the Hall of Immortals, and now he's just a manager. Well, he's a manager, color, and road agent. So he's a manager in New Japan and Noah. I don't know who he's managing. That'd be really cool if you could actually see that in this game, but unfortunately not. But there's that for him. So good for him. Independent Wrestler of the Year, Austin Aries. Interesting. Austin Aries, working Lucha Underground and Impact. He's the Lucha Underground champion right now. Match-wise, 2019 here, he went 80-15. My God. They just made sure he won all the goddamn time. Average rating 68 for his matches. That is crazy. Just working Lucha Underground and Impact, though. Just back and forth between the two of them. There you go. Austin Aries is the Independent Wrestler of the Year. Most Improved Company of the Year, Stardom. Well, that's cool. Stardom wins this award. I don't really see them do that too much. They've risen to small size. We do have a working deal with them, friendly attitude and a talent trade agreement with them. But they rose to small size there. They've been, they've been going up. Let's look size here. Here we go. So as you see over the year, 30 in Kanto, 12 in Tohoku and Chubu, and then they've all gone all the way up to, they didn't grow a whole lot in Kanto, a decent amount, but not a whole lot. But everywhere else, they went up a ton. So they're getting up there. Good for them. Female Wrestler of the Year, Charlotte Flair, or Ashley Flair, if you will. Working in WWE, she's currently SmackDown Women's Champion. She went 26-11 last year. Average rating of 58, so that's not great, but, you know, it is what it is, I guess. So she's working pretty decently there, doing things. Looks like she was maybe injured for a couple of months there, because she had a match at Fastlane in April 2019, and then she didn't have another match up until June. So maybe she was injured for a couple months there. She came back, started doing her thing again. Working main event. So she was on SmackDown, where she retained the SmackDown Women's Championship in October. And then the last couple months, the only matches she's been having is on main event. She hasn't even been wrestling on SmackDown. What the hell? This, I guess. It makes no sense, but whatever. But there you go. She's doing her thing there. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Tomohiro Ishii. Working in New Japan and RPW. He's currently the Intercontinental Champion in New Japan. Match rating wise, 69. Nice. Average rating. He's 91-21. Very good stuff for him there. He had a 92 rated matchup. I'm going to guess it was against like a big star in New Japan. There it is. Tanahashi defeated him at Culture Shock. She got a 92. So good for him there. But yeah, that's interesting to see. Good for him. Getting, Intercontinental Champion, all that kind of stuff there. So good run for him there. Young Wrestler of the Year, Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee 2, that is. Working in CMLL as well as MLW. We'll look at his stuff really quick here. He is 19-28, so he's Young Wrestler of the Year. He doesn't have a winning record, but he does have an average rating of 66 for his matches, so that's pretty good. A lot of that was in Mexico. Looking at the MLW stuff, well, he had a 59 in-ring performance there. That's not bad. Might be somebody we might want to put on the old short list. Possibly check out in the future. Maybe bring him in and see what we can do. Maybe not on a written deal. Maybe more like a handshake deal. He wants $1,200 to show though. That's a little pricey for us right now, but we could consider it. Show of the Year, Wrestle Kingdom, of course. Why wouldn't it have been? Got an 89 rating overall. Okada defeating Tanahashi for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Got a 97, which is definitely what carried the show, because everything else was not that great. So Okada and Tanahashi definitely carried the show there. Kushida defeated Bushi and Kota Ibushi to retain the Junior Heavyweight title, though, which got a 72. But yeah, it was definitely that main event that carried the match there. Or that carried the show there. Interesting to see there. Match of the Year. Went to that match we just looked at. Okada defeating Tanahashi. So there you go. Tag Team of the Year. Shukaze and Miyahara. I'm not that good at that stuff. Or I'm not the greatest at those kind of names, but good for them there. We'll look at him really quick here, because it looks like it's mostly tag team stuff that they did. So, mostly just New Japan. Because he worked a few Noah dates early on, but it looks like mostly just New Japan. Surprisingly enough, never held the championship, but they took on Makabe and Hanma like a billion times in here. And they took on Takayama a bunch in the summer. But, yeah, there you go. They actually beat Makabe and Hanma a ton of times, as you see there. He went 50-10, so I've got to imagine that the other one's probably similar. There's that. Company of the Year, New Japan. Figures. They're at medium right now, ranked second in the world. $14 million. Japan, they're increasing size-wise. Well, Can't tell they've gone down, but everywhere else they kind of went up. So they kind of averaged out a little bit there. But they're still putting on great shows, as we saw there. Well, possibly. Wrestler of the Year goes to Tanahashi. 4th time he has earned that honor. He's working in New Japan and on AAA right now because he's on handshake deals with both. 30-14 last year. He had an average rating of 76. His highest was the 97, which was the match of the year. He also has an 86 here where he beat Toriano got an 86. So that's kind of crazy. He carried Yano to an 86. I like Toriano, but he definitely carried him to that 86. Not even a champion right now, which is kind of crazy too. But there you go. So there's Wrestler of the Year. So no words for AEW, but you know what? That's fine. We're in our first year. That's fine. We're growing. Bunch of ones where TV deals went to an end. We'll look at Clash of Champions real quick. Randy Orton defeated Triple H to retain the WWE title. Jeff Hardy won the US title in a 4-way match. I'm not sure who was the champion heading into that. Ronda Rousey and Naomi defeated Becky Lynch and Ember Moon. Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt defeated Gable and Benjamin. Jinder Mahal and Kane defeated Jack Gallagher and Harper by DQ. Weird stuff. Bayley defeated Carmella. Baron Corbin and the Revival defeated Byron Saxton and the Lucha Dragons. Zelina won a 3-way match over Sonya Deville and Nikki Cross. Nia won a 3-way match over Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. A lot of weird stuff there. We'll kind of get into some of that stuff in a little bit. So another note to bring up before we start diving into our company. Lucha Underground. Their broadcasting deal went off, and officially the company, or the weekly television show, went off the air because there's no one else there. Lucha Underground is in trouble in this. And it kind of makes sense because obviously they were already dead by the time January 2020 started. But Lucha Underground is in trouble. They are $367,000 in the hole. They now no longer have a TV show. So all they have are just their events, which, was generated events in this game. But yeah, so it came up a couple days ago that the banks were closing in on them, all that. When I got to looking about it, I don't want to spend the money on it. We're actually, and we'll get over it in a second, we're actually kind of losing money right now, month by month. And, I know how to fix it. I just don't want to do it right now. But we're kind of, we're at the point where we don't really want to spend money to try to bail them out, especially because, looking at the roster here, a lot of people who are still here are either people who I have on my roster right now. Amazing Kong. Actually, I might not have too many of them on my roster. Eli Drake is there for some reason. I'm not sure why he's there. Yeah. Kind of weird. But yeah, Jesse Goddard's is working for us. Or at least he was. I think I might have released him. Yeah, I released him the other day. He just wasn't really doing that much for us. He wasn't working that well for us, so I released him the other day. But yeah, a lot of these people, whatever. And then some of these people are like people who I never want to bring in anyway. Obviously never want to bring him in. No. So some of them are just ones where it's like, why the hell would I even consider it? Like, no. And then some of the other ones, why spend the money? Why spend all that money to buy out the company and try to take over these contracts when some of these people I'll be able to get on handshake deals afterwards anyway if I really want them? Like, for example, Thunder Rosa, which, kind of a little criminally underrated stat-wise, but if I really wanted to bring in Thunder Rosa, I could just wait until the company goes under, keep an eye on her, and then bring her in the future. So, it's ones that I don't need to, because they're a handshake deal. So it's not like I have to go in and, it's not like I have to go in and steal their written contracts. I could easily go and get a lot of these people who are on handshake deals. I could even get them right now on handshake deals if I wanted. But they're all on handshake deals right now, so I don't have to worry about, what I'm going to, trying to get them later on kind of thing. What's Ty's stuff been looking like? She's got 50 in-ring performance. I've been kind of keeping an eye on Taya, considering bringing her in. But I was kind of making sure that she had like some decent in-ring performances first, and they've been okay, especially compared to the rest of our women's division. So I think I didn't have her on my short list, but we'll keep an eye on her. But anyway, so that's so Lucha Underground's probably going to end up going off the air here soon. They actually had a bunch of people like quit too recently. Desmond X quit, which I don't know if he went anywhere else or no, he just quit them completely. Justin Borden left, Killshot left, Shane Strickland. He just left them. Like, they sold the Lucha Underground temple, so they weren't even running out of the temple the last few months. Evil East quit them. Like, they've already been kind of heading downhill for a little bit now. So yeah, that's we're gonna be eventually seeing the end of Lucha Underground in this. And then a bunch of other broadcasting deals that came to an end that I'm sure will be replaced in the near future. So, going over to our office screen, because we can look at that here. The only person who I have morale issues with right now is Kyrie. She's just annoyed because of a poor new gimmick she had. I'm not worried about that. That'll go away in eventual time. But as you see, this is why I haven't been considering hiring too many other people right now, because we already have 100 people on our roster. We have way too many people on our roster right now. I need to start potentially trimming the fat. Not trimming the fat, but I need to potentially start getting rid of some people but to be fair, a lot of the 100 that are here are a lot of like not lower town, but there are a lot of people who aren't that popular right now, who I brought in to start getting popular. Especially once I can do darks. Like, once I can do darks, then I can throw them on dark and have them get, start working on there and go from there. And some of these people will be leaving in due time as well, just depending on how their contracts are and all that. But as you see, we're third in the world right now. We're behind New Japan and WWE. Here's our popularity right now. And you can see over the year, we started with 65 in the Southeast and 40 everywhere else, and we've gone up not a lot. Southeast, we've actually been slipping a little bit because, outside of a few people at the top, we don't really have a lot of major stars right now with a lot of popularity, so we're building them up. But we have been getting slow popularity gains everywhere else. Tri-State in the Southwest, we're up to a 48. And Mid-South, too, we're also up to a 48. Southeast, we're still hanging on at 62, so I can't complain about that. Everywhere else, we're kind of up to a 44, basically, so can't complain there. Canada, we've gone up from 25 to 31, which isn't too bad. Especially because you also got to remember, when you go to look at these popularity gains, that from June to July, like right in the middle of June, July, that's where we started Dynamites. Everything else before that was just a couple of pay-per-views and then some random tour day things that I was running at the time. So really from July on is where you want to look at the popularity boosts. And we, in Canada, we got basically one every month there. We go back to America, that's where we saw that we jumped up to 41 everywhere except for the Southeast over, and then kind of slowly went from there. Mexico, kind of the same thing, 25 we there. And then Dynamite started when we went to 26 up to 30. Same with the British Isles, slowly increasing there. Japan, same thing. So everywhere else, everywhere we're slowly increasing. We just haven't India, we're not. I don't know why India's going down. I think we lost our broadcasting deal with India or something, but everywhere else, we've been slowly going up. So, and as long as we stay, as you see, medium size, as long as we stay above a 59 in the Southeast, then we could stay at medium size. And right now we're still at 62, and we're starting to turn out Dynamites that are getting above that. So we're getting to the point where we're not slipping with the Southeast as much. In fact, we haven't lost a popularity point in the Southeast since the first few Dynamites. We dropped from 63 to 62. So we've been able to stay at that 62 level for a while now. So that's good. Obviously, we want to keep increasing, but we got to keep building up our stars first before we can get there. Money-wise, we have been losing money. The last time we turned a profit was back in May. We had 10,149,000, and we've been losing money ever since. Tripled figures, or six figures in most of the months. That's mostly just been because of the bigger stars we've been bringing in. Because as you see in May, our worker costs was 377,738, and now this last month it was 625,000. So it's because of that worker cost thing. Our drug testing also went up a lot because we're running more weekly shows as well. But yeah, it's mostly because of that. It's and that also has to do with the handshake people too. If we're bringing in guys like I'll look here for example. So Samoa Joe, who's on a handshake deal with us right now. He's currently on a handshake deal for $1,500 a show. So if we bring him in for 4 Dynamites, that's $6,000 right there. That's why I've been kind of doing it recently too with the storyline thing between him and Lethal, where it's been mostly like Lethal being on TV and Joe just kind of causing distractions or whatever. I mean, granted, this game doesn't recognize distracting someone with music, so it actually still puts him there. But that's why it's been mostly like Lethal doing most of the segments, and then Joe. The idea of Joe just not actually being there, but just kind of scaring Lethal kind of thing. It's been partly because of that, because I don't want to spend $1,500 every show like that. Yes, I mean, it's a process, but we're getting there. Ticket sales have been slowly going up. I mean, it looks down from November, but that's because we also had a pay-per-view that month. So if you look at like October, we went from 162 to 163, so it's slowly going up. Broadcasting revenue went up a lot the last couple of months. I think it's because we got a really good broadcasting deal the last couple months, so that's been helping us out. Sponsorship dipped a little bit last month, which is kind of worrisome, but we're still making a decent amount there. Merchandising is going to keep going up. We're on the path to, and that's also why it's costing us a little bit more in merchandise sales for expenses, because we are in the process of upgrading. Because it started off at growing business for level 4 of 10, and I was kind of looking at that. I'm like, I don't like the idea of it being 4 of 10. I think it'd be smarter to be kind of 5 of 10 at least. So, we're doing that. In theory, it should honestly be higher than that, because obviously AEW did not set it up where workers were bringing in their own merchandise to sell during intermission kind of thing. But TEW is kind of a weird thing in that it doesn't recognize a lot of that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to go and edit it and shoot it all the way up to like 7 or 8 and then have it be costing us a ton of money right off the bat. So, but we are upgrading it. Slow process. Once that gets there, we'll be making some more money and go from there. So I'm not too worried right now. I have some cost cutting plans in motion as well that will kind of help out with things in the future, but I'm not like, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh god, we got to figure this stuff out now. We got to figure it out. Like, we're in trouble. Oh my god. And kind of go from there. So we will get this figured out from there. 55% prestige, 65% momentum, as you see there. So that's been going up since the start of it. Can't complain about that at all. Let's look at creative really quick before we dive into the roster stuff. So right now, franchise players, it's still just Chris Jericho. He's our only major star in the company. That's why I've been trying to get him featured on TV a little bit more, even if he's not actually wrestling, like if he's just in angles or whatever. Next big things, Mercedes, which is why she's kind of getting that push right now. Mark Quinn, which is why, they had the program with Young Bucks, and now they're going to be having another program heading forward. Alexa Kaufman, who I'm trying to get featured more, but the problem with Kaufman is that she's not as good in the ring as I was hoping for. Not that she's, I'm a Alexa Bliss fan for sure, but it's not like she, I can admit that it's not like she's one of the better in-ring performers, but she's kind of struggling right now with that. So I'm gonna have to any plans I have with her heading forward, I'm gonna have to try to focus a little bit more on the out of ring stuff a little bit, but we'll get there. And then, surprisingly enough, Mansoor is the next big thing. Not surprisingly, but kind of surprisingly enough, because right now he's considered unimportant status. He has like 10 popularity in the U.S. except for Southeast, which he has at 14. Um, so far he's had 6 matches and he's 1-5. In fact, the only match he won was on an independent show. So if we look at just AEW, he's 0-5. He hasn't won a match yet. But he's been featured in a couple bigger matches too. Not bigger, but I mean he took that loss to Jesse Goddard's, which got a 40, and then his last match here, he took a loss. Him and Seidel took a loss to the Inner Circle, which got a 50. So that's helping him out popularity wise. But he's apparently he has the stats to potentially be a big star, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. Hot prospects: Mercedes Marquand, Bear Bronson, who is somebody who I haven't been doing a lot with right now, but because I'm trying to figure out like the right thing for him to do, but it'll be something he'll be doing here soon. If we take that independent show out of there, he is 2-12, so not great. But but we're gonna get there. We'll get him some stuff here in the near future. Kind of see what I can do with him, that kind of thing. Warhorse is another hot prospect. Haven't really done a lot with Warhorse right now. He's 1-2. He did win a tag match. I was kind of testing the waters with the Danhausen and Warhorse tag team because I thought that'd be interesting. Haven't decided if I'm gonna pull the trigger on it yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on him possibly getting a little bit of a push. And then Chris Statlander, obviously in real life current TBS champion. She hasn't really done a lot for the company as of yet. 2 matches. She is 2-0 in those matches. But like if we look at her most recent one, she had a 44 in-ring performance. So she's kind of there, but I just haven't actually like had her wrestle on TV yet, kind of thing. Because I think that was considered part of our dark match. So I haven't actually had her wrestle like on TV, on Dynamite yet. But I'll be considering it soon. Talk the Talk: Jericho, Moxley, Mercedes, Regal, and Generico, which is interesting. Showstoppers: Generico, Omega, Mercedes, Penta, and Pac. Ring Generals: El Generico, Pac, Mercedes, Cody, and Penta. So as you can see there, Mercedes should probably be like the main focal point of our women's division because she's number 3 on all 3 of these here. And it's not like we're not going to be pushing her pretty strongly. I mean, she's got that storyline going on right now, and honestly, she will be getting pushed fairly good. But I'm not considering her to be the face of the company in the women's division. We'll kind of go with that as time goes on here. Who's hot? Penta, the Bunny, Pac, Alexis, and Seidel. Kind of makes sense. Pac and Seidel just fought for the world title. Alexis, has been having a pretty good push there. The Bunny's obviously the world champion, or the women's world champion. And Penta, I don't think we've really had him lose too many matches there. Who's not? No issues. I usually do a pretty good job with making sure that people aren't like on too bad of momentums. Sometimes they can, they might be kind of cooled over, but I usually try to do a good job of making sure that I can get rid of the momentum cooled issues there. Hidden Gems, I don't know what, I haven't looked at this in a while, especially because I haven't had to hire anybody in a while. Desmond Xavier, Mecca Wolf, Ray Horace, Cody Hall, Aaron Stevens. So I think those honestly were the 5 that were on there the last time I looked at this, which was at least a few months ago. So that's interesting, but there you go with that. So we're not going to go through every single roster person, because that'd be a lot. We'll go through some of them here. We'll go start with, someone I wanted. Also not what I wanted. There we go. So major star, like I said, Jericho's our only major star right now. 66 popularity in America for the most part. Has been slightly going down, just because, he hasn't been involved in a lot of bigger stuff over, but it's been kind of consistent at 66 here for the last few months now. So that's good. He's still a big star that we can use whenever we need to. Match rating wise, or match wise, he's 16, 7, and 2. Average rated 61. So that's not too bad. As you see some of the tour dates there from earlier on. Yeah. So I mean, he's been pretty good in the when we hit the Dynamite era. Only lost a few matches here and there, kind of thing. Star-wise, we have Moxley. That's kind of where we're also running Moxley and Jericho right now because they're our two biggest stars in the company. Mox 61 popularity in America right now. It's been kind of fluctuating. We only had him, the last few months or so, but he's up to 61 now, so he's kind of fluctuating a little bit, but he's there. He's happy going from there. And then obviously Regal's our other one, but he's just our Bex, our authority figure, our on-screen authority figure, all that. Well-known wise, got a few people. Austin Creed's still up there. His stuff's been kind of iffy. He hasn't been doing great for us. But he's getting there. He's getting there. We'll kind of see what ends up happening with that heading forward with him. Him and Miro are going to end up having to go at it again in the near future. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how he continues to play out. CJ Perry, who obviously is managing Miro. Cody Rhodes, who's 46 popularity right now. Has gone down some, but that's part of that is because he hasn't really been getting featured as much, and also part of that was when he took the loss to Adam Cole. He lost to Lethal, but Lethal was kind of up there already. But him losing to Adam Cole kind of hurt his popularity a little bit because Cole was so much farther down the ladder at that point. But sacrificing to try to get Cole a little bit popular as well. El Generico's still up there, 55, so he could easily break into star level if I gave him, a pretty good push right now, which I have plans for him. He's got the feud with Martinez right now, but I have plans for him after that. Jake Hager's still up there, doing pretty good stuff for us. Jay Lethal is one who I've been slowly trying to push a little bit, which, as you can see in-game, he's definitely had a great push here. Obviously, you can see the difference between him being on Dynamite and not, because he jumped up like six popularity in a lot of those places. But even then, he's been jumping up even higher. He's a 42 in October, and then he jumped up to like a 47, 48, 49 in November. He's been slowly increasing from there. So we've been getting him over. That's kind of a plan, is to try to get him to be kind of one of our bigger stars as well, which I have some plans for him. Kenny Omega, obviously, still up there. Popularity-wise, he's been jumping up. So he's up to a 47 now. So we'll get him over more and kind of keep going from there. Matt Sydal is one who, it's kind of an issue, kind of an interesting thing for me. We had this whole issue where Matt Sydal caused Su Yung to cheat on Rich Swann with him. I think there was like another thing that I was kind of looking at too, where I was kind of a little, because honestly, at one point in time, there was plans to pull the trigger and have Pac lose the title to Sydal, or Sydal was going to be the world champion heading forward. But I think I kind of soured on it a little bit because of some stuff. And so I ended up deciding against it, because Sydal was having a better in-ring performances than Pac. But, I ended up changing my mind and just sticking with Pac for the time being. But he's still doing really great for us. He's obviously one of the better in-ring performers we have at this point. In fact, even if we go back to our one major star, Jericho, we can even look at this matchup here. Sydal had a 69, Jericho had a 63. So Sydal is easily our best in-ring performer at the moment. I couldn't pull the trigger on putting the world title on him, but he could still have amazing matches with people in the game. Mercedes, obviously, recent person brought into the company. Her popularity probably it actually has been going up. A lot of these people's popularity started really low, but she's only had 2 matches so far in our company, but between those 2 matches, she had an average rating of 53. So, she's doing a good job for us. She had an in-ring performance at 55 in that one, and then the match with Io, she had a 61. So, she's definitely going to be one of our top females, but she might not be like the face of the division, so to speak. But she's definitely, she's getting that push. Miro, obviously, been continuing to do his thing there. Continuing to increase popularity-wise. Currently in the feud with Austin Creed. Obviously, Pac, our world champion. Definitely getting a popularity boost as time has gone on here in this. Match history-wise, look at just AEW. So he's 9-5-3 with a couple of those losses happening on the spring tours. But he's definitely, he's getting up there. Hit a 79 with Seidel. He's been involved in like main event stuff that's been doing really well for us. And even some of his other ones, like when he won the world title, he had a 67 with Hager. So he's doing a good job. So we're going to keep pushing him and see what happens there. Penta, obviously, another member of the Death Triangle there. 43 in America right now, popularity-wise. Slightly up. He's been doing really good, obviously. He had a 66 in-ring performance in that tag title match at Dynamite Grand Slam. So obviously he's doing really well for us. He's one I can use in ring pretty easily and have him have really great matches. He might be getting a little bit of a push into 2020 here. And then Samoa Joe, who, I don't know how much longer we're going to have Joe. I don't think he's physically declining at this point. Again, he costs us a lot of money every time we use him. And, he's still got the popularity, obviously, and he's still got the technical skill. He's still got the in-ring skills to be able to do really well. He did lose a popularity point since then, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll kind of see. We're not going to go through every single person in depth at this point, at this level, but recognizable right now, we got Adam Cole, we got Alexis, and we'll look quickly because I just wanted to show you. So, yeah, she had a 51 in her performance there against Ivelisse. Against Britt, she had a 48. So she's, she's there, but, that's also kind of a little bit why I wanted to get Mercedes as well, because I knew bringing in Alexis would be good for us, but at the same time, it wasn't, as good as I was hoping for right off the bat. Which honestly, I probably will be dropping her last name here soon too. I might pull the WWE move and drop her last name, but I haven't decided yet. Her popularity has been basically kind of average. The last few months though, it's been kind of consistent at 40, so that's good for us. But yeah, so there's that. Ashley Lane's still hanging around there. She's got the feud with Sheeta right now. Billy Gunn's still hanging around. He's just an occasional wrestler. He's more just managing Austin Gunn, but he's basically just a road agent for us at this point. Cage obviously having that feud with Kenny Omega right now. And that was after he had the feud with, he's been going up. That was after he had the feud with Cody Rhodes as well. So he's been getting some popularity there. Britt, who we finally got up to recognizable status after really working on that. That was a whole thing. Because she started really bad, which, to be fair, when AEW started, she wasn't super recognizable. Like, unless you were, watching Shimmer or some of the other couple of indies in the area, she wasn't really that known. So we have been getting her over, especially as Dynamite's been going on. You see in July there, she was kind of 16 in the Southeast, 14 in Great Lakes, 12 everywhere else, and now she's 30 overall and everywhere. So we've been getting her over. She's been getting a pretty decent push for us. Evil Uno, one half of the tag champions. So obviously he's been getting a nice little run there. Kazarian. Sheeta's up there as a recognizable status. We've been slowly building her up as well. So that's good to see. Kyrie's up there. Kaylee Ray, who just challenged for the women's title. Matt and Nick Jackson are both up here still. Which I don't think they've been losing too much popularity with. And they lost a little bit. I don't know what happened with September to October. What did it cause them to lose that? Because they lost the Young Bucks at All Out. That's why. So they dropped a few points because they lost to the Young Bucks. Or to the Young Bucks. They lost to the Dark Order is what I meant to say. But that's fine. Mia Yim's up there. So at least we have a few recognizable names at this point too, which is helpful. Recognizable names in our women's division, that is. Mickie James, who's basically just here as a manager, because she can't, she's not wrestling anymore, but she's still managing Kylie Ray and Riho, which has been good for him. MJF, we got him up to recognizable finally, so we're getting him there. Push wise, I mean, like I said, he started 15th in the tri-state and single digits everywhere else, barely known at all, and now he's up to 38 overall, so he's getting there. He's getting there. Nick Jackson, like I just kind of said, Phoenix here, Phoenix. Phoenix hasn't been Phoenix is a little bit harder to be getting fully behind because he only had a 59 here, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, he's still outperforming a lot of the roster, but Penta's been the one that's been putting in the bigger performances, so we'll kind of see. Rosemary being up there. Stu Grayson, of course, the other half of the tag champions. Taz, who's just a commentator. Tennille Dashwood's still another recognizable person we have here. She's got that feud with Priscilla Kelly right now, so we'll be building her up. The Blade, obviously, member of the Dark Order. Bunny, women's world champion. She's 41 overall popularity in America now. She started at 25, so she's up to 41, which is good for us. She got a big bump from November to December, and I don't know why that happened, honestly. Maybe because she started having she was getting involved in like a lot better matches, I guess. I don't know. Tommy End, obviously the leader of the Dark Order. He's been getting up there, and then Trevor Lee here, who is one half of the Thrill Seekers. I think he got some of that popularity from outside of AEW, and of course we have all of our unimportants here. Ones to kind of look at, Everett, who does have cool momentum right now, but I mean we've been getting him up there. He's getting 10 popularity points, so he's getting up to the point where we will probably be able to get him out of that level and into recognizable here soon. Couple of other ones to look at here. Darby Allin has been a project. You can see he's up to 15 in the US now, but he's still just not getting that over. So I may just keep him as kind of a jobber guy who slowly gets built up as time goes on, or at least trying to. Hangman, though, Hangman's starting to get some popularity behind him. As you can see there, especially over the last couple months, he's been getting a lot of stuff there, starting that feud with Cody, or not with Cody, with Adam Cole. So we'll see where things go with him for that. EO's kind of just on the outskirts of going up to recognizable status. Jungle Boy's just kind of hanging out there. It's kind of hard to get behind him too much on this right now, because he also is not doing that good in-ring performance-wise. Same with Luchasaurus. Marty Martinez hasn't really been seeing a lot of popularity boosts yet, because I haven't really been diving super into the Generico stuff with him yet, but like right now it's just been a lot of like angles that have been happening, but he has been getting popularity from it. OC, Orange Cassidy, who in real life just had one of the greatest matches in AEW recent history. But he got a nice little boost back in December, up to 20 popularity, but he's getting there. Priscilla Kelly's one who I've been trying to kind of get behind, kind of pushing a little bit, and she has been gaining a lot of popularity. Especially from where she started off. She's been, it's a good bump, but just not enough yet to get to recognizable status. But she's only 22 at this point, so that's fine. We'll get her there. Ricky Starks, who we're just starting to get doing stuff with. However, Sammy Guevara's kind of a weird one too, where Guevara just hasn't really been gaining a lot of popularity. Now, you could argue that it's because he hasn't really been featured on TV a lot, but at the same time, when he's paired up with Hager and Jericho, it's kind of hard to be like, we're gonna, I'm gonna be treating him the same there. Like, that's why I've had to have, like, for him, that's why I've had to have, like, mostly tag matches with Hager for him. I need to keep putting him in tag matches so I can keep improving his popularity, but that's, it's been kind of a little bit of a struggle with him, because he's been kind of bringing segments down. Shane Strickland, slowly getting that popularity. So that's been good for us. And yeah, that's about it for for that there. The rest of the wrestling world we can look at really quick. I know this is a longer episode, but we'll get through real quick. We'll look at kind of a couple of the top companies here. So WWE, obviously, still the number one company in the world. Popularity-wise, they're 70 overall, which has been lower than when they started off at. Now people did make a comment. There was a comment in a AEW episode earlier on in the season where they were like, "Well, that's what happens when you use a mod done by the Who," and I was like, "Well, it's not done by the Who. It was done by this person on BeTheBooker.net." Which, by the way, definitely go to BeTheBooker.net if you ever want mods or anything like that for TW. But I went and looked into the mod a little bit more and did realize that it was kind of somewhat edited by the Who afterwards. So nothing against the Who. I like it. I like their stuff, but they do tend to start with lower popularity and lower everything else. So that is also kind of why we're seeing some lower stuff on here, is because they it was kind of edited by them a little bit. But title wise here, WWE champion is Randy Orton. He's held it for 141 days at this point now. So he's champion there. Cruiserweight champion is Byron Saxton, because for some reason Saxton is set to be a wrestler at this point with his contract. When it expires in 2 months, I've got it set up where he's only a color person heading forward, so hopefully it'll stop him wrestling. But for some reason, he's the Cruiserweight champion right now. Intercontinental champion is Titus O'Neil, which surprised the hell out of me. That Titus has had the championship and has held it for 113 days. Because Rollins was the champion, and then Titus beat him for it. So good for Titus. I mean, he's been getting a decent push here. He has 64 popularity in America, which is a huge jump from where he started off at. I don't know what kind of matches he's been having, but he defeated Kevin Owens by DQ in a match for the Intercontinental title. He had a 46 in-ring performance, so he's not doing great. He's probably on the decline right now. But, they're giving him a title run before he retires, I guess, so that's good for him. Raw tag titles belong to Akam and Razor. They've had it for 392 days and have had no successful defenses so far. They have yet to defend those titles. They just have them. I might have to go in and edit that, because that doesn't seem like they're ever defending those titles. Part of it's because it's set as a secondary level championship, and I gotta imagine that these two are not. Yeah, there are 20 popularity, so they're not defending them against top tag teams there. So I need to change that to floating. Women's champion, fucking finally winning a championship, even if it is in TEW. Ruby Riott won the women's championship there. Doing pretty good there. Apparently, she cheated on Jake something with La Sombra, though, which is interesting. But, yeah, so she's the women's champion. She's the Raw women's champion there. So good for her. SmackDown tag champs are The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus. So that is working out for them there. And they have been defending the titles. I don't know why Raws aren't being defended, but whatever. Charlotte, women's champion, as we saw. SmackDown, that is. US, we just saw Jeff Hardy won. And then Universal is Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio actually beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. So that's an interesting little thing there. But yeah, I mean, still a lot of their people there. Snoop Dogg is there. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's there. But yeah, some interesting stuff there. New Japan is number 2. They're medium right now, second in the world. Title wise, Okada's still the heavyweight champion. He's held it since Wrestle Kingdom. Intercontinental champion is Ishii, as we saw. Junior heavyweight is Kota Ibushi. He won it from Kushida. Junior heavyweight tag champs are Evil and Sonata, which, okay. I wouldn't really classify Evil as a junior heavyweight, but sure, why not? Tag team is the Guerrillas of Destiny. For some reason, Tangaloa doesn't have a picture. US is Kushida, so Kushida moved up from junior heavyweight to the US champion, so that's cool for him. Never open weight, Joe Doring, who has just been killing it there. He's had 15 successful title defenses of it. He's been killing it there in New Japan for some reason. Open 6-weight tag champs Kojima, Shingo, and Yamato. New Japan Cup had not happened. And none of these tournaments have happened because they're not set up to happen, I guess, in this. So there you go. I'll have to go and possibly set those up. NXT is actually number 4 in the world right now, as you see. They are currently doing a thing. They have Tommaso Ciampa as the NXT champion. He's been having it for 490 days and has no successful title defenses. What the actual hell? It might be because I said as primary. I need to edit that as well so he'll defend it against people, because it might be one of those things that he's not defending it because there's nobody popular-wise up there, so we need to fix that. North American Championship, Roderick Strong is the holder of it. Just recently won it. Tag champs is Cassius Ohno and Johnny Gargano, which is interesting. The women's champion is Bianca Belair. So that's pretty cool. Impact, you look at them real quick. 5th in the world right now. Doing pretty decent. Knockouts champion. Gross. Diamante actually won the championship for a few months, for like 6 months though, so that's pretty cool. Good for her. World champion Sami Callihan. Tag champions, I don't know why they just have pictures, but tag champs are Ortiz and Santana. This is a universe where we didn't bring them in yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to yet. Their matches well, that was an independent show, but PWG 42 from Ortiz and 40 from Santana, so not great, but it's not like bringing them in wouldn't be one of those things, is one of those things where I can't bring them in and put them with somebody maybe and have them get over that way. So I don't know. We'll think about it. We will think about it. There might be a decent tag team to add to the tag team division, but again, that would be if I wanted to hire more people on top of who I already have. So I'd probably have to trim the roster first before I consider bringing them in. X Division champion is none other than Eddie Kingston. That's awesome. Eddie Kingston winning the X Division championship, which is freaking great. I like that. Being Matt Sydal for it actually too, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that's Impact there. Take a quick look at ROH real quick. They're still alive in this. Small size, 10th in the world. Champions. They've got world champion is Dalton Castle, which is awesome. Good for him. He won it after Mr. Anderson, I think, retired. Either retired or got injured. I don't remember. 6-man tag champs are Tommy Dreamer, Colt Cabana, and Delirious. If you could think of a tag team of a 6 trios champions in ROH, you definitely would want to think of Dreamer, Cabana, and Delirious in 2020, right? What a weird combination. Tag champs are the Briscoes. TV champion is Caleb Conley. That's pretty interesting. Caleb Conley went into ROH and won the TV title. So good for him. He's been rocking it for 65 days. Pretty good stuff there. And the Women of Honor champion is Brandy Rhodes because she is on just a regular red deal with us. So she's also still working for ROH, and she is their women's champion. Can't imagine she's having too many good matches there, but she's still doing it. As you've seen, we haven't had her. Yeah, she had a 30 in ring performance, and that's why. That's why she hasn't had a match for us since, like, I did a pre-show match with her. Like, most of her work in AEW match-wise has been pre-shows where she took losses, because she's just not that good. She's not that good, but she's still been managing Cody this whole time, so she's been on TV for us. But yeah, there's that. We'll look at Lucha Underground really quick, because obviously we know it's probably going to be going under here soon, but we'll look at the champions. So Austin Aries is the Lucha Underground champion. Jesse Goddard's is the Gift of the Gods champion. And the trios champions are Chavo, Jesse, and Son of Havoc, which is a interesting team as well. If there's any other companies you wanted to look at more in depth on here, just let me know. There's 64 companies in this game right now, or in this save right now, so a lot of ones that we can go and look at later on and look into stuff. But that is probably gonna be the end of this episode. Yeah, heading forward, we got Revolution in 26 days, so we'll have that. We'll be continuing to work towards, continue to build people up with our story, the different storylines we have going on right now. Obviously, Pac and Seidel just had that match for the world title, but you got to imagine the Inner Circle still wants the championship for themselves. But Jericho's too busy running away from Moxley at this point. We're also going to have Brian Cage and Kenny Omega at some point having their one-on-one match with each other. Tino Dashwood obviously wants her one-on-one match with Priscilla Kelly that just hasn't been booked yet. We'll have to find out why Britt Baker cost Kaylee Ray the Women's World Championship. We'll have to find out who's next for the Tag Team Champions after they were able to defeat the Lucha Brothers, and so much more. So it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see heading forward. But thank you all for hanging out and watching this. If you got to the end of this, congrats! I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate all the support you continue to have for the channel, as we just continue to try to do what we can to make it here in AEW and turn this around into a promotion that can be a really good one in this save. So thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. Follow me over on Twitch, starting to do more frequent streams over there, and follow me on Twitter or X as it is, to get updates on any content I'm going to be doing. But we will see you all in a future episode.